Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today I thought that we were going to do the mid-year book freakout tag. So I have my trusty little notebook here with all the questions in them. And you know what? Why don't we just get started right away? Huh? Let's jump into it. Best book that you've read so far in 2022. I have to say that the best book that I have read so far this year is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. As I mentioned earlier on this channel, I am pretty new to a lot of popular authors that people have been reading for years, and I discovered Leigh Bardugo when I got the Shadow and Bone trilogy for Christmas. And I did some research into the author because I really liked that trilogy, and I discovered that there were more books in the same universe. So I picked up Six of Crows and I loved it. So that is the best book that I've read so far. And next question, the best sequel you've read. That took a lot of thinking on my part, but I landed on the third book in the Nevernight Chronicles, which is Darkdawn. This is a book that I was so wrapped up in that I finished it pretty fast, and I loved all the twists and turns in this series as a whole. But Darkdawn by Kristof really got me, and this is the book that also almost made me cry. Didn't quite get me there, but it's the book that has been the closest to making me cry this year. So that is Darkdawn. Next question. A new release you haven't read yet but want to. There is a lot of them, but if I have to pick one, it will be Elektra by Jennifer Saints. I really love old mythologies, and I was kind of thinking I would love to read one of the retellings. And I have heard a lot of good things about Ariadne by Jennifer Saints, and I really want to read that book too. But when it comes to new releases, I think that Elektra would be a fine choice. Question 4. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Ever since I saw the release of Daughter of the Moon Goddess, I have wanted to read it. I haven't been able to pick it up yet, but I will as soon as I can, because the Heart of the Sun Warrior will come out later this year, and I really can't wait to read that. But I need to read Daughter of the Moon Goddess first, so that I will be ready when Heart of the Sun Warrior comes out. I also have to mention one more book, and that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I have heard a lot of good things about it, and I really want to read it, so I can't wait till that book comes out in August, I believe, and that's not so far off. Next question, biggest disappointment of the year. My biggest disappointment of the year was the Wishsong of Shannara by Terry Brooks. This is the third book in the original Shannara Chronicles trilogy. I got the original trilogy for Christmas, and I devoured the first two. I thought that they were nice. I liked them. I can't say that I loved any of them, but I liked them. And when I picked up the third book, I got very disappointed because I felt like I had already read the same story twice in the first two books. So I DNF'd it. or I didn't finish it then. But maybe I will next year or later when I have some other types of books read in between. Because yes, they are question books, and I do like those. It's just I thought it was a little bit too much, because I like reading series back to back. And because of that, I got a little disappointed, because I felt like I had just read it. The same story, the same development through the book, the same pacing. So I was a little disappointed when I started reading this. Let me see. Next question. What is the biggest surprise? The biggest surprise that I have read this year is The Familiars by Stacy Halls. I have to be honest, I did kind of buy this book because of the cover. Because it's a beautiful cover. Just look at it. It's amazing. And of course, the title of the book, The Familiars. I do love witchy type stuff, and the title just kind of drew me in. And when I read the back of it, I was sold. So I bought this book earlier this year, and I read it. I read it pretty fast. But I have to say that I didn't think this book would be my cup of tea, because I thought that I only liked fantasy books. Boy, was I wrong. I've learned from this book and the series called Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerry Maniscalco that I might also like historical fiction. And because of that, this book surprised me. I did really enjoy it, and I didn't think that I would. Let's see. Next question. Favorite new author of the year? Well, I do have a few authors that I would want to keep an eye on, and keep an eye on their new releases and stuff. But I can't say that I have read enough of these new authors' books to call them a new favorite author of mine. But I have read a lot of Leigh Bardugo's. I have read the entire Grishaverse, and because of the Grishaverse, I do really like Leigh Bardugo. But I haven't read anything else by her. I haven't read Ninth House, so I don't know if it's the Grishaverse that I'm gelling with, or if it's the writer. I did like the writing style in those books, but I don't think that I am qualified enough by that author to say that she's a new favorite of mine. I do have the same dilemma with Sarah J. Maas, because I have read Throne of Glass and I loved it. I loved that series. I thought it was intriguing, it was funny, it was exciting. But then again, it's one series by one author, and that I hadn't read before. And I haven't read any of the other series from Sarah J. Maas. I have bought A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I have not read it yet. And because of that, I don't think that I can say that she is my new favorite. Same with J. Kristof and all the other books that I have liked this year. I haven't really read a lot of these authors, so I'm not sure that I can say that, but maybe by the end of the year I will have found a new favorite author. Okay, and next question. Newest fictional crush? I can't say that I have any. I like characters for different reasons, and I can't say that I have developed any crush for anyone yet. So I think we'll just skip that one. Question 10. A book that made you cry. Like I said earlier in this video, the only book that came close was Darkdawn by J. Kristof. But it didn't quite get me there. So far none. Question 11. A book that made you happy. Well, it was a lot of twists and turns in this book, but the ending made me extremely happy. In Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I loved it. The ending was fitting. It was beautiful, and I don't want to spoil anything, so that's all I'm gonna say about that. Made me happy, made me feel like reading the entire series, binging it was worth it. And all the time that it took to read this weapon of a book, it was worth it when I got there, and it made me happy. Yes. Okay. Let's see, next question. Most beautiful book you have bought so far this year? That was a real hard question for me because I have bought a lot of books this year, and I have bought a lot of beautiful editions. As you can see right above me here, I have a few different leather bounds. I have some penguin cloth bound editions. I have some special editions down here, collector's editions, and of course the collector's editions of Six of Crows that you have seen. But if I have to choose one book, I am gonna go for Grimm's Complete Fairytales, leather bound. Well, oh my god, just look at that. It's stunning, and it usually faces out on my bookshelf. Gilded edges, red ribbon bookmark, and of course it has art on the end papers. Beautiful. It's the same way in the back. It is a beautiful book with all of their fairy tales. And it was actually the first leather-bound book that I bought this year. I just love it. Just look at that book. It's amazing. Oh my god, I can't stop looking at it. It's so shiny. Shiny. I love it. Let's see. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, I do want to read the first 4 books in the Bridgerton series because I have seen the television series for season 1 and 2 that follows the first 2 books, but I have also heard that they have promised 2 more seasons on Netflix that will come out later, that are in the planning stages yet, and those seasons will follow book 3 and 4, and because of that I do want to read the first 4 books of the Bridgerton series before season 3 comes out, because then I am prepared, and I really want to see how the books compare to the series, especially with books 1 and 2, because I really did enjoy the series. I didn't think that it was going to be my cup of tea, but I caught myself sitting there. I was having a good time, and I like the humor. I was chuckling to myself, and I really wanted to try the books. I have all 8 of them, but I thought that I would start with the first 4 at least. So there they are. I also, as I have mentioned earlier, want to read Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Lynn Tan. That book has been, I don't know, kind of dogging me. I have really wanted to read that book. I need to buy it first, of course, but there's still a little time left of the year, so I am thinking that I might pick it up in August, just so that I might have time to read it before Heart of the Sun Warrior comes out. And yeah, that is at least the one that I'm itching for to read during this year. And oh, and also Ariadne, I forgot about that one by Jennifer Saints. I really want to read that book. I have been itching to read that one too, because of the Greek retelling. I love myth, I love legends, I love folklore, and I would love to try and read Ariadne too, before this year is over. So it seems like I have some book shopping to do. That was actually all the questions in the mid-year book freakout tag. So I think that I have gotten them all. And I want to thank you for watching this video. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Maybe you could tell me what books you would like to read by the end of 2022, and maybe what's your most anticipated release of 2022. Let me know down below, and if you want to see more from me, please hit the subscribe button so that we can talk about books together and have a good time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!